Every club. Every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Newcastle podcast. It is me, your host, and I am joined by my fellow girlie, Jo. How are you, babe?
It is me with my broken voice. Awesome.
Perfect. For anyone that is watching, me and Jo do have matching bucket hats on because
yes, we do.
Because we
We're
match
geeks.
everything and we're nerds and we're dorks. Yep. Although I'm going to just quickly slip mine off because it is squishing my head because of my microphone. So it is coming off my head for now. Welcome to the Daily Newcastle podcast. It's the girls' turn to give their reaction. We went on last night because the boys were together and they gave their reaction, and we will make no apologies because we're probably going to repeat everything they have said, but it's our turn to give our opinion, our views, and talk about the wonderful game that we got to witness on Sunday. We finally got to see our beloved Newcastle United lift a trophy for the first time in, 68, 70 years, whatever it was. 50 years,
70
whatever.
for domestic, 56 for, technically.
56 for,
but, too long. Way longer than we've been alive, girl. All that matters, right?
Too long, yeah, absolutely. So, we haven't got a plan. We're absolutely just going to talk about everything that we witnessed on Sunday, to be honest. So, if you have listened to the boys' reaction, which obviously you have because that's, you guys listen to every day, we're probably going to bore you and repeat the boys what they've said. But it's our turn. So let's get started. Jo, I'm just going to put it out there. I vaguely remember at one night in January, I think it might have been, after a certain game that Newcastle played, we sat here and said, it's time. It is our time to win a trophy, and we had a really strong feeling that it was coming home, if you like. It was coming back to the cathedral on the hill. It was coming back to St James's Park. First of all, I want to ask you everything around Sunday. How you were obviously up in Newcastle in the strawberry from the crack of dawn. So we just want to start off by saying, give me your day breakdown and how it went down and how the feeling was in the city. Obviously, I'm 3.5 hours away, so the feeling down here was probably a little bit different. But tell me about your day.
Oh, just something I've waited decades to experience. Obviously, we've all waited this as long as we've been alive. Anyone under the age of like 60, 70 or whatever, we've waited as long as we've been alive. So, as you know, me and Donna were the first ones in the queue. They even laughed at us when they let us in because there was literally only a few of us, because everybody wanted to go to the stack, except when people couldn't get in the stack, they all then filtered back and realised that the strawberry was the place to be.
Yep.
However, we obviously had prime seats at this point, which is now, even the barmaids and guys were saying that's our lucky table, because I was joking, being the superstitious fool that I am with all the millions of things that we do on a daily basis. But I was like, we sat there for Derby Day. We sat there for the cup final now. They actually said, they were like, any next event, you guys need to be first in and you guys need to sit here. I was like, just put a reserved sign on.
100%.
So we are now strawberry royalty, just like that. Not that they didn't know us anyway, because we are regulars in there. But, oh man, just what a day, man. I started my day with a pint and a sausage roll because I'm a classy Geordie. Classy Geordie. I then I decided I needed a coffee, but you're not allowed just a coffee. Well, I wasn't anyway. So I had an Irish coffee because, it's still a bit of alcohol, still a bit of coffee. I went back on the pints after that, because again, being classy. Well, yeah, something like that. And then I hit the rum. And I'm not going to lie, I do remember the match. But I was very drunk, as you can imagine. But, I mean, oh, God. Yeah, it was 7.5 hours of drinking before the match even started, so I'm quite proud that I even remember the match personally. But, my mum will be proud that, I came back alive and all that sort of things that she probably didn't think I was going to. But, man, that game, man, like, you know what it is, right? And we've all had it, right, over the last 48 hours, probably the biggest range of emotions, from pride to disbelief to waking up each morning for the last 2 months. Like, did it happen? am I dreaming? Nah, it really happened, because then it's all over social media. It's all over YouTube. It's like, oh man, it's just in your face, and then you can just live it over and over again, which we probably will for a long time.
Oh
But
yeah.
one of the ones, I was walking around with my parents before the school run today, and probably the first time I've felt it in the last 48 hours, I felt calm again for a change, because I've been like right up here,
Oh,
and
like
I felt
me.
so calm. And I started thinking, you know what it is though? You know what this is? This is justice. We played all the big teams, the top four
Oh
teams as
yeah.
it stands. We beat Chelsea, we beat Forest, we whipped Arsenal. And what did we do to Liverpool? We whipped Liverpool, because 2-1 flatters them. We absolutely smashed them. Salah, it's the only game he's done nothing in terms of goal contributions or anything. Like, come on, man. Any neutral, and if you're not saying it, you're just salty as hell, because anyone watching that has to acknowledge that we had them. Slot was amazing, by the way, afterwards. So shout out to him. Fair
Oh
play to him,
yeah.
because Klopp wouldn't have. Klopp would have been his bitter,
Gracious in
twisted
defeat.
little crying ass. But anyway, Slot was brilliant. He just acknowledged that we were meant they stood no chance and we fully deserved it. And that's why on the way to the school run today, I was thinking, you know what? I'm now temporarily, because I'm now hyped again, calm about the situation, because it was bloody justice, man, wasn't it? Man, we bloody deserved it, man. So we won it, and we deserved it, man. Nick, take
Yeah.
over. I'm going to swear. Take over.
Taken over.
Too loud.
Taken over. Obviously, I am. I'm 3.5 hours away from Newcastle. I am not far from London, to be fair, on a train, but obviously couldn't get a ticket to go to Wembley. So I decided to stay at home and watch it with my family, who are lifelong Newcastle supporters. We all are. And let me tell you now, it didn't tarnish the day whatsoever. So I am just going to tell every single listener who feels a little bit gutted that they weren't at Wembley. We all were, let's be honest. Every single Geordie would like to be at Wembley, or watched it in a local pub that was maybe 2 hours away, 3 hours away, or even in Newcastle, doesn't matter. Or watched it with the family, or even decided to stay at home. I just want to tell you guys, that does not make you any less of a fan than what I've been told, apparently, on Twitter. Doesn't make you any less of a fan where you watched it, how you watched it, because we all made our own memories. And let me tell you now, watching that Newcastle win with my family, I wouldn't have changed it for the world, obviously, unless I was at Wembley. However, yeah, what a day. And I'm going to be really honest, mate. Like, I woke up on Sunday, right? And obviously, for everyone listening, I've said it before and I've said it a couple of times. My husband is a Liverpool supporter. So, not been a great week in our household, considering they got knocked out of the Champions League as well. So, yeah. But I woke up
Oh.
on Sunday and I thought to myself, I was nervous. I probably didn't really sleep that great, which sounds really funny when you say that to like non-football fans. If you don't like football, I don't understand, but okay. But I really felt calm. I felt calm. I felt nervous, but I felt calm. I felt a lot more calmer than what I did 2 years ago when we played Man United in the final. And then the whole day, I was just like, no, I'm really excited to see us go out there. I've got a really funny feeling.
Yeah.
We've been saying it for months and months. Me and you and Kevin have been really vocal about how we think
Yeah.
we're definitely winning silverware this year. We've all said it. It's also came off the back of the same year where people have doubted Eddie Howe and blah 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 blah. Like, is he the manager to take Newcastle forward? I am just going to sit here and tell you guys now, Kev will be proud of me. Eddie Howe cannot go anywhere for the time being. He
No.
cannot go anywhere, because that game on Sunday is the best game I have seen every single player every single player in black and white
Yeah.
play. Every single one of those 11 players on that pitch deserve man of the match. Like,
Yeah.
I've never seen a team like it. It was unbelievable. And I have been riding the highest of highs since probably, what was it, 6 p.m. Sunday. And I eventually calmed down today at work. People were asking me, like, oh, you're buzzing, are you buzzing? But now I'm back high again, because I'm like, we bloody done it. We actually, we actually done it. Like, I cannot
Oh
believe in
man.
our lifetime that we have watched Newcastle win a trophy. And they didn't just win the trophy, they absolutely
Mhm.
battered Liverpool. They battered them, and the scoreline didn't reflect the performance, in my opinion. Yes, obviously
Nah.
buzzing with the 2-1 win, but it should have been about 3 or 4 at points. And
Agree.
I'm just, yeah, I think maybe I'll break for the first ad, shall I? Because we've got a lot more to break down.
We have.
See, guys, we're just really, really happy, and this is going to be a lot of nonsense for a lot of people. But we're just really, really happy. So I'm going to break there for our first ad, which is from our sponsor, Bioniq. And then I think in the second part, Joe, we maybe need to give Big Dan Burn a little bit of attention. So I'll play the first
Cool.
ad.
Your body is unique. And Global Sports Podcast Network has partnered with Bioniq, the world's most personalised supplements. Bioniq provide 100% tailor-made supplements designed to deliver precisely what your body needs at exactly the right levels to optimise your health. No guessing. So click the link in the show notes. Use the code GSPN2025 for 40% off your first month's subscription. Bioniq. Don't settle for off-the-shelf solutions made for just anybody. Get what's right for you right now.
Ken's lovely voice. He could read me a nighttime story. I think I'd fall asleep.
Dulcet
in a good way.
tones, isn't it?
Yeah. Very lovely. I will put the link and the ad in the comments, guys. So be sure to check out the Bioniq website, and there will be a code in there for, I think it's either 15% off or 20% off. I can't remember, but I will put that in there. Right, Joe. We've got our feelings out. Mostly.
Kind of.
We've got them out, kind of. I don't think I'll ever get all my feelings out. I think I'm going to be like this for the rest of my life. Let's just talk about. Let's give this second part. I'm giving Liverpool no attention.
Some player focus. No, they don't deserve any. It's fine.
They don't deserve any. I don't want to talk about them. It's not the Daily Liverpool podcast, I'm afraid. So if you're looking for a little review, you ain't getting one. Big Dan Burn. What a wonderful week. And I've got goosebumps sitting here talking about him, to be honest. I've been a bit of a critique about Dan Burn in the past. I will hold my hands up. There's been times where he's slipped and, and I'm just a bit like, oof, God, is he the man that we should be having at centre-back? Well, I'm eating my words now. Friday gets a call-up. Obviously, he had a call-up last week. He gets his call-up for his first ever international camp by Thomas Tuchel at 32 years old. What a journey that is. 2 days later, he is playing at Wembley in the Carabao Cup final for his boyhood club. Let's not forget, he's obviously one of our own. Not only that, he takes it one further and scores the opener. And it wasn't just a little score opener or a messy one. It was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
What are you thinking? Do you agree? Give me your opinion. Come on, hit me.
Literally could not be happier for the bloke. Was pretty hyped during the week anyway when we saw that he'd been called up for the England squad, and me being me can't stay off social media and saw some absolute idiot call out and say, what the hell's he been called up for? I was like, are you kidding me? Do you actually watch football? Like, even if you're not a Newcastle fan, do you actually have any acknowledgement about what's going on in this? Never mind. So anyway, I shouldn't acknowledge these people. My dad tells me all the time, but I do because I can't help myself. Anywho, back to Burn. He was just immense as always. He's been our player of the season. We've talked about it. Yes, we've obviously talked about him being it, but Dan Burn was the one that we've kind of called out a bit for being the player of the season so far. To be fair, I don't even know what could happen now between now and the end of the season to take him off that mantle. So I might just hand him the player of the season now. The rest of them, I love you guys, but Burn gets it, especially because of what he did at the weekend as well. I mean, of all people, we've probably all said it before the match. And I know we did in the copious amount of hours in the build-up of waiting for the match to come on in the pub, covered about every aspect of what we want to happen first and who we want to score and all this sort of stuff. And I was like, one of the Geordie lads has got to get it, especially Burn. I was like, well, we all know my love of Murphy, but I was just like, if he could get one. But Murphy got an assist, so I'm covered all around, so happiness is right here. But yeah, Dan Burn getting that goal, man. An absolute bullet of a header that they said they'd been practicing certain things in training. Eddie did say it didn't go exactly how it had in training, but who bloody cares? Because it went in the back of the net. And I don't care how it went in training at that point, because all that matters is it happened in the match. And again, he was absolute colossal. The only other player that it's hard to pick, I know you said before about not everyone being man of the match, but you do have the conversation of, who would be your man of the match? The one 100%. Who really, really stood out to me was Big Joe, man. He was a man mountain. He was back to his best. He saved whatever he's been hiding for the last few games back to his best. Share, back to his best. What's he been doing for the last few months? We've even called him out on it. We'll all admit that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Back to his best. But it's almost and they did it in the last cup run, didn't they? They kind of just fell apart in the build-up of the last cup run. Unfortunately, on the last cup run, they also fell apart a bit in the cup final as well. But man, did it not probably give them the rocket up the backside they needed to perform, and they did it. They did exactly what they needed to, and they deserve every little ounce of respect, applause, everything, man. Eddie's a genius. The players were immense. That's all I got to say, man. I'm going to start crying again.
Mate, me too. They all, I'm going to just talk about Dan Burn for a minute. Yeah, his goal,
Yeah.
by the way, was, I'm going to say Shearer-like, but I think it was even better
Was.
than that. I'm really sorry,
Mm.
Shearer, because I love you.
I think Shearer would give him that,
I
because
think he'd
Shearer
agree
said a
with
lot of
it,
good stuff about me.
because
Yeah,
it was, even the corner, I'm just going to call out my guy Trips, actually. I'm going to give him a little bit of,
brilliant.
I'm going to give him a cover in the third part, because I feel like we need to talk about him. But his corner was, I mean, he's give some corners and I'm thinking, oh, what the hell was that? But this corner was like off the training ground, and Dan Burn straight in at the back, the 6'7" giant that he is. God knows what Liverpool were thinking, by the way, having their probably smallest player on the pitch, Mark, BDB.
Mental.
But anyway, here we are, and it was a stunning goal, and I couldn't be happier for him. And I think he touched on yesterday's pod, it was released on yesterday's pod, sorry, with the boys, that he's never felt Wembley erupt like that, and had never
Yeah,
experienced anything like that in his life. Let me tell you now, I have never experienced that feeling, and I was watching like you were watching on the TV from home. It was
yeah,
unbelievable, and I could not be
yeah,
happier for him. I feel like he's come total full circle. He is just, what a week, and you could see the
yeah.
emotion in it when he ran, obviously, and celebrated, and all the players, you could see what it meant. But then you also got the other side of it. You could see that they were celebrating, they were happy they've scored at Wembley, because obviously last time we didn't. But you then also got, like, literally, they were celebrating, and then straight away they were like, right, back to
They
business.
were right back
Back
on
to
it.
business.
They were.
We're back to business until at least the 90th minute. And
Yeah,
then just what you've touched on with Mr. Eddie Howe, I felt like, as a club, him, team, even the fans, the city, they just got everything right this time. And I've actually had to write this
yeah.
down, and so I can read it off properly and give it the attention it needs. And I'm talking on and off the pitch. So let's just talk about the club. I'm talking like social media about the club. Last time it
Mhm.
was constant montages from the past, and Bobby Robson and Keegan days, and all the old players, do it for them, blah blah. Whilst I'm totally here for it, it was constant bam bam bam. The social media content from the club this time round has hit really hard, but it has
Mhm.
just been minimal. It has been the hashtag we don't do quiet, and it's been the odd post here and there.
Mhm.
It's not been all these old montages from, the
Yeah.
last sort of 50, 60 years. We all know Sir Bobby would be smiling up there. We all know Kevin Keegan would be buzzing from wherever he watched it. We all know that. So I feel like
Yeah.
the content the club put out on the socials set the right tone. Wall flags, I mean, I wish we could talk about them more on every single podcast, but I feel like they produce such a simple but powerful message with the history book. Obviously, Bruno and Joe Linton have
It was
said
a beautiful flag, that man.
it was beautiful. They said, we want to
Yeah.
write ourselves in history books. Oh, what did they go and do? They give a history book display, and it was just so
Mhm.
simple. It wasn't overbearing or overpowering. Obviously, everyone had their scarf
Yeah.
that they got from the club's sponsor put on the thing. That looked unbelievable when the players were walking out. Um, the supporters, by the way, all game were on it. Like, even when we played Man United in the last final, we get the nerves were high. We were
Yeah.
quiet. This time there wasn't one quiet moment in that pitch. For every chant Liverpool were doing, the Newcastle fans are coming back. You know, from the first minute to the 90th minute, they were on it. Every one of the lads had a great game. Eddie got his tactics spot on, and that is the first time I'm going to say that about Eddie. Like, there's been times where I thought, oh, maybe his substitutions were a bit late, maybe this was a bit off, maybe that was a bit off.
Yeah.
This time I will there was not one thing that man done wrong. He didn't doubt himself, and
Yeah.
thank God he didn't. We all said we have to have the game of our lives to win, and they delivered it on and off the pitch, and
Yeah.
that is what winning feels like.
It
A
is.
team that looked like they were up for the trophy that day, and
Mhm.
the right team won, in my opinion, because I'm going to just say it,
Oh God,
Liverpool
yeah.
looked like they couldn't even be bothered.
Any
And I
Liverpool fan, the players, surely they'll admit it. Like I say, Slots had the decency to come out and completely admit it immediately after the match as well, when the emotions probably pretty raw. So, anyone with come on, just be honest. Like, I appreciate football fans like to wind each other up and there's the banter and all that, but nobody can seriously come out and say anyone else deserved to win that game other than Newcastle.
no,
So, and I'm not even willing to entertain anyone that says otherwise. I'll be honest. I'll just say you're clueless. You're just either salty as hell, or just give over, man. Is what I have said to a few people. Just give over.
yeah,
Just come on.
100%.
But yeah, like, I've got to be honest on the atmosphere thing, because I was in the Strawberry, and I've got to say, by the way, that is by far, so far, the best place I've ever watched a match that I haven't been at. So I go to all the home games. I have been down to Wembley in the 90s. I didn't obviously go this year. However, I will touch on this very quickly. Me and Donna kind of had the chance to go at the very last minute. And we had a very sensible conversation about whether we should, after we'd already cancelled the hotel, which I'd had booked since the back end of goddamn November, because I'd cancelled it thinking I wasn't getting the ballot and all this. And then through work, so I work for a company that sponsors Wembley. Leave it at that. And then, but yeah, like, it was like 2.5 days before. I say 2.5 days because literally, obviously, if we're going by hours here. And we were like, hang on, because obviously the hype went up like, oh, hang on, can we go? So we were like, right. And we're texting. I was like, ringers. I was like, hang on, we need to have a conversation here. We need to do this sensibly. Like, A, what's the logistics now? B, I wasn't bothered with the ticket price. It was going to be about 200 quid each. Fine. Would have paid that happily.
That's fine.
But the clincher for me was the only tickets available that you won't be surprised to hear are either with the Liverpool fans, obviously wouldn't happen, or otherwise in the neutral area. However, in the neutral area where you weren't allowed to wear your colours, you weren't allowed to sing or anything like that. Now, I like a good sing, hence the reason my voice is broken right now. Most fans do. And we were like, hang on, are we really going to spend God knows how many hundreds of pounds? Probably be very drunk. Then end up in a neutral section where, well, she went 2 years ago, Donna, by the way, and she took her jacket off at some point, and some woman came across to her and said, put that back on. If you take it back off, you're getting kicked out. And I thought to myself, I don't want that. That to me is not an experience. I would have happily paid the money and been in the Newcastle fans, and but a drop of hat, me and Donna would have been there. But you know what? I had such an amazing day in the Strawberry. I don't care that I wasn't at Wembley. And people are like, oh, it's easy to say that. Well, yeah, actually, it is easy to say that because I could have been there. So yeah, actually, I can say that. And if you know what I mean? I couldn't hear any of our fans, by the way, because what's great about the Strawberry and what would have happened in a lot of other pubs, we sang throughout the entire game. It was like being at a match. We were watching on the TV, but we sang throughout the entire game. And it was just the best. When Dan scored right before half-time, it was beautiful. Because obviously the half-time whistle went. Everyone just piled out into the street. Everyone's jumping all over each other, hugging each other. Like,
honestly,
man, it
was an unbelievable feeling.
Man.
It was absolutely fantastic. We will give Isak's goal some coverage. I don't suppose you have the Zencastr ad handy, do you, my darling?
I got it.
We'll just break for the second ad, and then we have got free reign to talk about the rest of the game.
Wonderful. Here at the Global Sports Podcast Network, we spent a lot of time selecting our delivery platform. Zencastr came out the clear winner, with 4K video recording from your phone in the AI editing that automatically removes all those ums and ahs. It's super easy to start a podcast that sounds great and is delivered efficiently. If you're ready to tell your story, check out the link in the show description to learn more about Zencastr. Can't speak Zencastr.
Zencastr.
My voice is starting to go again.
Joe, as you can hear, guys, is struggling. So we will keep this next bit short, my darling. Well, I say short, we probably won't. It's only right for the coverage that we've given Dan Burn. We have to give 3 plays in the build up to this goal. Actually, we have to give Mr. Isak a big shout out because that goal was beautiful. But we also need to give Tina Livramento and your boy Jacob Murphy a shout out because the build up to this goal was stunning. I'm first going to kick it off by saying I owe Tino Livramento a huge public apology because he listens to this, right? So he knows my opinion of him,
obviously.
Right? He listens to it all day. Tino, if you're listening, I am.
He cries because of it. You upset him.
I agree. I am incredibly sorry for doubting your left foot. Because I don't know what game you've been playing and who you've been trying to fool. I don't know if that's even a case or if you've generally just been warming it up for this game, but it's bloody worked. Because that ball that you crossed in, I'm talking like he's listening, that you crossed in to Mr. Murphy was FIFA-like. It was absolutely fantastic.
It was.
So you hereby have my apology. I will never doubt you at left back ever again because not only did you keep Mo Salah in your back pocket, you also technically assisted our second goal. And Mr. Murphy, for another Newcastle fan that got an assist. It couldn't have happened to someone better. His little header down to Isak, and then Isak's finish for that second goal. And I'm so happy for all the fans out at Wembley that we scored down that end.
At that
I
end,
am
yeah, I am.
so happy that we
Because
scored
the
down that
view's
end because
kind of iffy,
scenes.
isn't it, really? Yeah. I think the
Oh
view
yeah,
of Wembley,
100%.
in the lower tier, you've got it's a very low slope, if you know what I mean. So I think the other end of the thing, if you're
100%.
really low down, you're not seeing a lot, let's get real, are you really? So yeah,
No,
it's
you're not
brilliant
seeing
that
a
they
lot.
got to see that at that end.
Yeah, I would just like to talk about Isak's celebration because the photo is going everywhere with him pointing back at Virgil van Dijk.
And
Hey,
he's
he's so cold. I love it. Yeah, and Van Dijk's got his head in his hands. It's absolutely
oh
brilliant.
man,
And then I don't know if you've seen the videos because for the last 48 hours, my screen time is going to be shocking. It's going to be about 24 hours at this point. I've just been watching all the videos and all the different angles and things. When Isak's goal went in, did you watch Murphy's celebration? Have you seen it?
I've seen it back a couple of times, yeah. It's just
Honestly, it's actually going to make me cry. It's the fact that obviously Isak's gone quite rightly running into the fans, and I'm here for it. But
yeah,
Murphy's celebrating as a fan. It's like he's celebrating as a
yeah.
fan. And it was at that moment that not only did I start believing, and all the fans at Wembley start believing, and you started believing, we were texting, obviously drunk and all that
Absolutely.
sort of stuff. I feel like at that exact moment, in all the players, but particularly Jacob Murphy with his celebration, I feel like he thought, we're going to do this. And it was
Yeah.
the way he jumped into Dan Burn's arms. And honestly, mate, it's warmed my heart. And it's actually going to make me cry thinking about it.
He was like little kid jumped in. Oh,
To his dad's arms because, Dan Burn's
don't
6'7"
set
and
us off.
Jacob Murphy's about 5 foot. Yeah,
Aw,
honestly, don't
he's
set
so
me off. Honestly, anyone small compared to Dan Burn. Yeah,
true.
it was. I just cannot. I don't know how else to talk about it. It was just two beautiful goals by two incredibly talented players.
Mhm.
And they fully deserved it. And I know
Yeah.
you obviously agree because we've been speaking about it. And they all of them deserve to hold their heads high after that match because there's not one complaint from my side.
No.
There's one player, well, two players I just want to give a bit of a shout out to, because again, they obviously listen. Before we move on
I know what
to
you're saying before you even start.
Mr. Eddie Howe. Actually, no, there's three.
we in particular both owe a certain someone an apology, and I know you're going to shout this next person out. Surely,
I don't know who you're going to go for.
who did we really not want to play, and who did we really want to play, and then they didn't?
I don't know. Oh my god. Oh, Mr. Pope. Okay, so I owe 3 plays an apology, really.
Oh, do you not thought about him?
I didn't even think about this. Right, you can go first with Nick Pope then.
It's all right. No, I'm just laughing because I thought it would definitely be one. Because how many times with me and you, Dubs has got to start. Dubs has got to start. There's no way we want Pope. Pope can't be reliable. Pope can't be this. And look, we've got to hold our hands up. We both got that categorically wrong. Or was Pope craphousing us into thinking that he couldn't do it, and then he did it. Oh man, he made a couple of cracking saves that really kept us in that game.
A save he made with his forearm almost.
His arm, yeah,
his
man.
His hand. Yeah, Pope, you are the best shot stopper. I take it all back. I really am sorry.
I'm really, really sorry, and I'll never doubt you again.
Sorry.
There we go.
So
That's all I've
Tino
got to
and
say.
Nick Pope, I'm really sorry. Anthony Gordon, now that the game's done and we've got the trophy, I finally forgive you. So all is forgiven and I love you again. So I can't wait to see you back in black and white. Thank you. And the other two, well, Mr. Joey Linton, can you just play like that every single game, please? Because can you imagine playing against him, by the way? Could you imagine playing against
I think on his day he's unstoppable. He's a beast. He's a literal powerhouse.
Nobody
can beat him. So many players have said this as well. Not even our players, by the way. So we're talking like ex-players, because I know Shearer came out and said it. Like he was like, imagine you wouldn't want him running at you, but you're right, you wouldn't.
He's everywhere on the pitch.
Yes, man. When he's on it, he is on it. Yeah.
Every tackle he made, he celebrated like he just scored the winning goal. I've never seen anything like it.
It was beautiful.
It was stunning. And that, again, another player that just bleeds black and white. It's like he was born and raised here. Like it's lovely to see. And they're the kind of players you want in your team. Trips. Just when you think he's coming to the end of his career, he pulls out a performance like that. He was everything we needed on Sunday. Calm, collected, cool, professional, performed well. Not a bad word to say about him. He had the game of his life.
He's got the experience on Nick, hasn't he? Come on, he's won leagues. He's just he's that type of player where he's all right. He's got his natural leadership that we're fully aware of. But I've got to be honest. Even if Hall hadn't had the injury he's had and he was still playing at left back, I did actually want Trips at right back anyway. Purely by the way, down to his experience, not
100%.
because I thought that he's so much better than Livramento. Obviously, Livramento's got the youth. He's great, don't get us wrong, and he was outstanding on Sunday. However, it was just because of that big game situation. Trips will not be flustered. If there's one thing you can guarantee, it wouldn't have been that.
100%.
So I'm so happy for him that he had that, because he was our number one. He was our first to believe in the project. And to see him and Bruno lifting the cup, and how classy is that by Bruno, by the way? Not only did he bring Trips over, he then wouldn't lift the cup without Lascelles, who didn't even want to come over, bless him, because he knew he hadn't played a game. And he's like shaking his head, and Bruno's like that, and made Lascelles come over as well. Like, it's just classy, man. It's just, on top of the fact that he cried his eyes out, and I'm the only... I'll not start. I'm going to cry.
I'm probably going to cry ending this pod. You've just touched on Bruno. I don't think I love a player more than what I actually love Bruno Guimaraes. He is, after I said it about Joe Linton, obviously, but he is a player that you want to play for your club. He just gets it. He just gets it. And
he gets us.
He
That's
gets
the main
us,
thing.
he gets the club, he gets the history, he gets the passion, he gets the emotion, he gets the fans, he gets, everything. And he has from day one, since he obviously joined the club, and even his wife is Newcastle crazy. I don't know if anyone follows her on social media, but she loves us. And that's really, really nice to see. And, Bruno hasn't probably had a strong season, we'll say. Obviously, he's been great off the ball, but sometimes when he's been on the ball, he hasn't been fantastic. But another player that just came out and played out of his absolute skin and gave a captain's performance. And I'm repeating myself, and I know the boys have said this, but like, he just honestly played so well. The passion between him and the rest of the team, you can see the players respect him. It was just beautiful. And I am just going to talk about his post-match interview, because holy moly, I have never cried so much in my life. He sat there and said, like, it was the best day of his life. I'm sure he means after his kids and wedding, obviously. But I'm sure we're up there.
Maybe not.
He said, a year or so ago, he wanted to write his name into the Newcastle history books. Well, good going, Bruno. You've done that,
Thank
as
you.
well as the rest of your teammates. Yeah, thank you. He said he wants the fans to be chanting his name for years to come, like we still chant Alan Shearer's. That's absolutely happening, my darling. We always will. And I'm going to put a bold statement out there, Joe, and I don't know if anyone agrees, but I don't think Bruno's ever going to leave us.
Well, I've said this for a while, and I'm going to back it up even more now and completely agree that I don't think, and I truly believe this, that he wouldn't leave us for another English club. 100% will not leave us for another English club. I'd like to think he's never going to leave us. However, I'm also not, I want to say daft enough, but it's not really that much of a daft statement, that if the likes of Real Madrid or Barcelona came in, he would leave. But you know what it is? I would not happily, over exaggerated there, but I would thank him with all of our heart, and we can clap him away and he gets what he deserves type of situation. But I don't believe he's going to, I do not see that man leaving us for anyone other than such a big club that he can't possibly turn it down. And I don't want to talk about any big English club. I genuinely think he wouldn't leave us for another English club. I think he loves us too much to do it. However, I do see the likes of Isak not doing it. I'm not saying Isak doesn't love us. I'm saying he doesn't love us like Bruno, though. Nobody loves us like Bruno. None of the foreign players, anyway.
Like Bruno,
Joe Layton, maybe.
Yeah,
Joe Layton as well, maybe. But again, is it the passionate Brazilian thing? Because we are very passionate Geordies. Like, we're known for being completely devoted beyond all the means. I mean, come on, again, how many years has it been? And we will go out in our droves, home, away. We'll support the team. We're just daft about football. It's a religion up here, isn't it? And if they came over and thought, oh, hang on, we've came to a club that matches their emotional state that they're always in as Brazilians, and like, so yeah,
100%.
I think that's, I'm with you, Beck.
It's I just love him. I never want to see him leave. I'm just going to quickly, well, I say quickly because I know you have to shoot off soon, but I just want to end on two things, really. Let me talk about Mr. Eddie Howe, and I feel bad that I'm only about to give him a couple of minutes.
We've
I
got
love
time,
that
don't we?
man, Joe. Yeah, we've got time. Every Newcastle fan that sat on any social media platform, any Newcastle fan that sent Eddie Howe direct hate, any Newcastle fan that chanted abuse or anything like that, not saying that they did, but if they did, let's put that to bed right this second, because that man has done what
Yeah.
no manager has been able to do in the last 50, 60, 70 years. And he
Yeah.
has wrote his team, himself, and the club in history books.
Yeah.
He's done it.
Yeah.
He's done what no other manager's been able to do at Newcastle for a long, 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 long time. And I'm not saying that we can't be critical of,
Of course we can. Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to see it ever again, I'll be honest. No, it's ridiculous. Yeah. He deserves it all, doesn't he, really? But, I mean, in the space of 3.5 years, he's rescued us. Like, I still to this day do not agree that any other manager could have rescued us from relegation, by the way. So that leads on to the fact that had we not been rescued from relegation, we wouldn't have then went on to have what we've had in the following seasons, because we would have had to try and claw our way back. Richest club of the championship, bugger off, man. We all know what the PSR's ruined us anyway. So we're not the richest club. We've got rich owners that can't spend it. Next story. But the point is, he's rescued us, which then allowed us to progress very quickly to a final. All right, we failed. Big deal. Champions League. To another final, which we've now done. All in the space of 3.5 years. And on this note, by the way, because I'm now going off on a tangent, and I don't care if we run over, because the only thing I'm sad about Sunday, by the way, is our precious Amanda Staveley and Mehrdad Gadassi were not anywhere to be seen, even though we knew they were there. Not once did they. Did you? I know I was drunk. I didn't see them on TV, not once. And you know what I really, really wanted? Because I said before the game, I was like, you know what it is? When we lift that trophy, because again, you know, we did believe genuinely. I was like, when we lift that trophy, I'd love for them to go down on the pitch. Because I know, what's he called? Our owner. I can't say his name. I'll butcher it. Anyway, when he was down there, and oh man, how precious would it have been to let them down? And I know they're not part of the club anymore. Before anyone says, oh, stop being stupid, they're not with us.